It's a new year and a new chance for you to make a fresh start with your compliance. We're going to be bringing you a daily tip, strategy, or idea that you can use to improve your program. Here's your host, Tom Fox, the Compliance Evangelist.
Day 10, the use of social media in compliance. What is the message of compliance inside of a corporation and how is it distributed? In a compliance program, the largest portion of your consumer customers are your employees. Social media presents some excellent mechanisms to communicate the message of compliance going forward. Many of the applications that we use in our personal communications are free or available at low cost. Why not take advantage of them and use those same communication tools in your internal compliance marketing efforts going forward? Louis Sapperman, Vice President and Chief Ethics and Compliance Officer for Panasonic Corporation of North America, Panasonic USA, often talks about the integration of social media into compliance. You should start with a tech-savvy nature of today's workforce. It is not simply about having a younger workforce, but a workforce whose primary tool for communication is social media. If your company is in the services business, it probably means your employee base is using technological tools to deliver business solutions. Finally, consider the data-driven nature of business today, so using technological tools to deliver products and solutions is something your company most probably does now. When he was the CCO at Dun & Bradstreet, Sapperman led a company-wide initiative to use social media tools to communicate compliance concepts. Not surprisingly, with most any successful corporate initiative, Sapperman said it began at the top of the organization with the company's then CEO. Sapperman noted that the CEO saw the advantage of using social media internally and challenging senior management team to take a new look at the manner in which corporate functions were using social media. From there, Sapperman and his compliance team saw the advantages of using social media for facilitating a 360-degree approach to communications and compliance. Sapperman comprehended the possibility for use of social media for compliance with those external to the company as well. Internally, D&B identified a tool called Chatter, which can be used in a similar manner to Twitter users who engaged in a tweet-up. Dun & Bradstreet created an internal company brand in the compliance space using the moniker Do the Right Thing, or that's hashtag Do the Right Thing, which trends in the company's Chatter environment. D&B also used this hashtag when facilitating a Chatter Jam, which was a real-time social media discussion about compliance. The compliance team led this event, which was held at various times during the day, so it could be accessed by D&B employees literally anywhere in the world. Sapperman's compliance team seeded Chatter Jam so the employees were aware of their expectations and to engage in discussions respectfully of others. When D&B began these sessions, employees were reminded that if they had specific or individual concerns, they were to bring them to the compliance team directly or through the hotline. However, as the compliance program moved forward, the compliance team was not required to make this admonition, as the employees understood the ground rules and the seating only related to topics to start off each Chatter Jam. One of the concerns lawyers tend to have about the use of social media is with the general and specific topic coming up on social media and the ill it may cause an organization. While such untoward situations can arise, if you make it clear the ground rules about the discussions, these types of issues usually do not arise. This was certainly the D&B experience. Each employee used their own names during the Chatter Jams, so there is an employee accountability and transparency as well. Sapperman said they further defined each communication through a hashtag so that it cannot only be immediately defined, but it is searched in the archives going forward. This branding enhances the process going forward. Also think document, document, document. Sapperman pointed to the specific compliance initiatives that arose during these Chatter Jams to emphasize their utility. He emphasized these events allowed employees the opportunity to express their opinions about the compliance function and what compliance meant to them and their organization. One of these discussions was around the company's code of conduct. He said that employees wanted to see the words "do the right thing" as the name of the code of conduct. This initiative and use of social media extended to communications with third parties. Sapperman said that the company allowed some of them to access its internal chatter tools to facilitate direct communications. Further, these external contractors would connect with the company through Twitter. He said that D&B consistently communicated to the greater body of customers about the organization's compliance initiatives and compliance reminders on what the compliance function was doing. Sapperman is firmly in the camp that social media is an important communication tool to make sure the compliance team is out there getting the message of compliance out to employees. Sapperman also described using chatter in a manner similar to the Facebook Live function. D&B delivered short video vignettes about compliance to employees. The compliance function or the employee base can develop these for dissemination. Another approach was suggested by the company Hootsuite and its social media tool Periscope. Hootsuite did a campaign called Follow the Sun using Periscope. They asked employees to showcase what they called the hashtag Hootsuite Life. They gave access to employees literally across the globe. Both of these initiatives drive home three key insights. The first is how compliance, like society, is evolving in many faster ways than ever. The second is that these tools can go a long way towards enhancing your compliance program going forward. Never forget the Morgan Stanley declination. Number three, never forget the social part of social media. We're going to have a quick word from our sponsor, and we'll be back with today's three key takeaways. So what are today's three key takeaways? Number one, incorporation of social media into your compliance communication can pay big dividends. Two, never forget the social part of social media and focus on that. And number three, use podcast and other audio clips in your compliance communications to tell the story of compliance in your organization. If you'd like more information on any of the topics in this podcast or how to design, create, and implement a best practices compliance program, check out the Compliance Handbook, which is available at lexisnexis.com/Fox. It is the single best volume for the design, creation, and enhancement of a best practices compliance program. This is Tom Fox again. Thank you for listening to this episode of 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance Program. I hope you will join me for the entire month of January, where I take a look at some of the significant changes in compliance and FCPA enforcement.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.